The Hangout on Air is live. Welcome, everybody. September 30th, a Thursday morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada. 12:30 p.m. Welcome, everybody. And I have some other window open. Great. Morning here in Las Vegas, Nevada. 12:30 p.m. So we're just going to pause. Now we're getting the background video. So I'm going to ask you folks to introduce yourselves. So Brooke, could you lead us off?
Sure. First of all, Ron, thanks for having us on. We're really excited to be here. My name is Brook Lillehaugen. I am professor of linguistics at Haverford College, and I'm a co-producer of this documentary web series that we're going to be talking about today, Dizhsa Nabani. I'm a linguist, and I've been working on Zapotec languages for almost 20 years. And so that was kind of my entryway into this project that we'll be talking about. So I work with Zapotec communities, and Zapotec is a language family spoken in Oaxaca, and we can talk more about that. But I'll pass it on to my colleagues now to say hi.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
Moi.
Okay, I'll be next. Well, my name is Moisés García. I am an activist here in the town of Tlacochahuaya in favor of preserving Zapotec as a language, but also as the feature of our identity. I am really excited about this project that we worked on this summer. It's a great opportunity that we had to connect with different communities of live abroad in other the states. So this is really a project that we had so I am really happy that it happened, and I am also happy that we are showing this today. And thank you very much, Ron, for giving us this opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Moises. Thank you. Oh, Lucia.
Hi, I'm Lucia Palmarini. I am an international producer, educator, and activist. I'm currently calling in from Mexico City, where I live sort of on and off. I came into this project as a longtime youth media and community media educator. So my focus is really working on projects at the intersection of social justice and community and participant-based work that really explores issues and themes that are underrepresented in our media today. So it was a real pleasure and joy for me to be connected to the amazing group of Haverford students and faculty, as well as the Oaxacan family of Moi and all the amazing people that we met while in Oaxaca.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And looking forward to the digital release. For those who don't know, this month is the 10-year anniversary where Moises and I became YouTube followers of one another's work. 10 years back, and 5 years ago in 2013, it took 5 years to go out to the festival there in San Jerónimo Tlacochahuaya. So, Moises, this is exciting stuff here.
Yes, it is.
Brooke, I want to pass it back to you, and I want to show and not tell. Can you tell us about this video series?
Absolutely. And speaking of show, not tell, let me share my screen. And I'm going to just give a little quick background here. So this project is funded through VCAM, Visual Culture, Arts and Media, a new center at Haverford College. And what it funded was it funded 5 student fellows, myself, Lucia, a production assistant, Hilary, some other video production consults, and most importantly, Moisés as our co-producer, to spend 8 weeks this summer creating this documentary web series. Maybe it makes sense to go ahead and we have like a 20-second teaser. Let's play this, and then I think that we'll go on some conversation.
And we've glitched. We went back to the screen share, or the getting out of screen share.
Okay, I will try it again.
Love the music.
We've heard it many, many times. It plays in my sleep.
I really like it. All right, I'm going to try to play it again. So,
don't you love the autoplay?
I think what I'll draw our attention to just a couple moments here before I be quiet again. I think I'll stop right here and highlight this. I think it summarizes what the project is about. So this documentary web series consists of 10 episodes, 3 to 5 minutes each, that all explore Zapotec language and identity in this one pueblo, San Jerónimo Tlacochahuaya, which is where Moisés is from. And we can talk more about that, but each one, they're thematically related, but not narratively related. So you could really watch them in any order, but we're going to play them in a certain order. And I think you also notice on this card, you see 3 languages represented. And that's something that follows throughout the web series, is hearing Zapotec in Spanish and seeing Zapotec in Spanish and English on the screen. I'll mention the name of the series and just talk a little bit about what that means. So Dizhsa Nabani actually means like living Zapotec language, but that's a little strange to translate. So we took a little bit of liberty in translating that living language in English and Spanish, but the Dizhsa there means Zapotec language. And then another key thing for the viewers and listeners is this is going to be starting to be released online freely September 13th, 1 episode a week for 10 weeks. And there's the information on the screen. I hope it's visible too.
So let's go quickly to language choice. How come estrena and premieres isn't also in Zapotec?
It should be, shouldn't it? How would we say that, Moisés?
Well, we could say like idia, like something that comes out, that surges, that appears. So maybe we can work on that, and it's really good that we have 3 languages there, because the communities.
Moisés, I'm sorry, but your video audio is breaking up.
Shown to actually are primarily Zapotec.
Moisés, one second.
And English, mainly in the.
Is anyone else having a problem hearing Moisés, or is it just me? Okay.
Yeah.
Moisés, boy.
In California.
Moisés, 1 second. Can you turn your video off? I don't know if that helps or not, but we need to try. We're not hearing you. I don't know the best.
I will send him a message offline to let him know about the quality. Maybe Lucia can jump in the meantime.
Yeah, so you know, it's kind of an interesting thing that I think viewers will see throughout the series is that in working with these three languages, you know, we tried to like explore the intersection of language in a lot of different ways. So there are times when there may be someone speaking in Zapotec on the on screen that we are not translating it word for word in English and Spanish. There are times when someone may speak in Spanish and we are translating it into English or just into Zapotec. You know, so we really wanted to explore the trilingualism of the communities that we created this series for. From the get-go, one of the, you know, top priorities was to, you know, share this living language, this culture that was alive and booming in Tlacochahuaya, but also in communities in the diaspora as well. And so I think, I think that question of, you know, why is this language here and why is it there will be something that we hope that people are asking throughout the series, and engaging in sort of conversations around how we explored that and how people could explore that in different ways in their own work in language activism and media.
Lucia, just a quick personal question. Had you been to Oaxaca before?
I had been to Oaxaca 3 months before, so for my very first time. I've been in Mexico on and off for 5 years, but certainly Brook and Moy were my guides, and particularly Brook, of just really helping us get acclimated to Oaxaca. It's such a unique place in Mexico, as well as Moy really like bringing myself and the production coordinator and the students into Tlacochahuaya and sort of helping us learn the right way to sort of be there and engage ethically, like in our community practice.
Beautiful. Well, let's get back to Moy with a bit about that. Can we hear you now, Moises?
I think you can. Can you?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, this was an opportunity that we had to link our communities, especially Tlacochahuaya here and diaspora communities in California and in other.
Moises, we're having that problem again.
In Mexico, this is
all right, again, Moises, can you turn off your camera?
A great tool that we had, and I'm really glad that it happened, because that our language is at a certain stage. Okay, can you hear me now?
We hear you now.
Okay.
Hoping.
Let's see. Okay, let's see.
And again, you know, we can try this.
Okay, you hear me now.
We can hear you now.
Okay. Now, so this was that we had to link our, because this is okay. So now, this is also in response of these or things that we do to bring back, so we know in stage. So this is a contribution, help of the, especially in Tlacochahuaya, where I'm really happened, and that we are showing it to different audiences, not only in Tlacochahuaya, but abroad, outside of the town.
Moises, quick question. Is there a screening, or how are people in Tlacochahuaya watching the video?
We have a screening set for November. So that's the date that we have here in the preview in July. And we are going to screen all the web series in November, the entire series on November. That's when we'll have a big event here in the town to show the film.
Wonderful, wonderful. November 18th, we hear.
Right.
Oh, excellent. Moisés, your video, your sound goes in and out. Right now, I think we have you.
Okay.
Can you say again the name of the documentary series in Zapotec?
Yeah, the name is Dizhsa Nabani, with living language, Zapotec language. I think we chose that name because we wanted to still be alive. This is also a project that it's aiming at giving it life.
Right.
Right.
While I have you, can I ask you, what is this called?
Oh, lad.
And this?
Those are, I can see them.
It's how you make a lad.
Oh, do.
Beautiful. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this series, and what we've seen in terms of the trailer / teaser is something that's really excellent and inspiring. I think I talked about this with Brooke. It's something that you can show family members. I think this is going to. I personally think of the language as an attribute and an asset for wanting to visit Oaxaca. So I applaud the efforts of all the native language speakers. What's next? Brooke, I want to go back to you and tell us when the next screenings are and how people can interact.
Absolutely. So all of the episodes are going to be made available online freely. So people can watch the episodes starting September 7th. Is that right, Lucia?
Oh, Lucia muted herself.
September 13th is when the first episode will be released.
September 13th. So starting September 13th, you can watch them online. They'll be released one a week over 10 weeks. If you can't wait and want to see them all at once, there's various ways to do that. We're having screenings all over the continent currently. So we're going to be taking a week and screening things in Oaxaca. In addition to the premiere in Tlacochahuaya, which is November 18th, we're going to be screening it in other local places in Oaxaca during that same trip. We really want this to be available in Oaxaca, and so that's a priority for us to make efforts to screen it there, as well as in what we'll call Oaxaca, California. So there are so many Oaxacans, and in fact, so many Zapotec speakers living in California that you can hear Zapotec spoken in the streets in Los Angeles. And in fact, we had a sneak preview last week. I played it twice in LA. Other than that, I'll be screening around the country when we get invitations to go places. And if anyone who's listening who would like to play it at their venue or at the university, please be in touch with us. We're happy to arrange various ways to do that. I think the easiest way, and let me screen share again here, is if a lot of people use Facebook, would be with the Dizhsa Nabani Facebook page. And let me just screen share there. Okay, is that visible? So if you're on Facebook, you can find us at Dizhsa. The title is Dizhsa Nabani, and you can recognize us with the title card there. You'll have access to all of the events and anything new that's coming up.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Impressive, impressive. Brooke, I want to just kind of reflect a little bit. I mean, you've done quite a bit of work now with Moisés, and what I found so interesting at the very beginning was the use of the Usa tu voz hashtag. By golly, you know, how is this maturing and growing in your eyes and the work that you've been doing?
Yeah. So let me back up even just one more step, because I think we haven't been quite explicit yet. One reason that all of this work is around this is that Zapotec languages, including Moisés's language, which is the Zapotec spoken in San Jerónimo Tlacochahuaya, are threatened languages. They're languages that are not currently being learned as native languages by anyone. And the youngest speaker, as far as we know, in Moisés's town is 40 years old. And in fact, he features in the film. So when you watch the episode, The Headdress Artisan and Dancer, he is, as far as we know, the youngest speaker in the town, and he's 40 years old. So if there's a language where the youngest speaker is 40 years old, unless something changes, this is a language that's likely to cease to be spoken. But this isn't happening out of the blue. This is happening under anti-Indigenous discrimination. And people are discriminated against for presenting as Zapotec and for presenting as Indigenous. And one way that happens in Mexico is through speaking an Indigenous language. So this threatened language is in this really complicated socio-linguistic context. So when we do things like create a web series, or when we do things like tweet in Zapotec, these both can be seen as forms of resistance, where a language that is, in some ways, has external pressure that is confining it, where speakers and activists of this language are actively pushing against those confines and using the language in more and more spaces, taking up space with the language digitally, globally, on these types of media. And so you referenced hashtag Usa tu voz, and for any of you out there listening who are interested in seeing some of the work that Zapotec language activists are doing, hop on Twitter and search for hashtag Usa tu voz, that's voz with a Z. And you'll see lots of speakers of not only Zapotec languages, but other Oaxacan Indigenous languages who are choosing to use Twitter as one of the ways to use their language, to share it with the world. And you'll see all sorts of content. Moy likes to post about plants and health, and we learn all sorts of stuff from his tweets. So I think these are related in those terms of using digital media and space for a language that has external pressure to be used less.
Beautiful. Moisés, anything to add there?
Well, one of the things that I want to add is that we are losing the language. So the Twitter project, the YouTube tutorials, these documentary adds into the efforts of doing something about it. We know it's at the delicate stage of not being used enough. So now this is the response that we are giving to the community, to the people, telling them that we are aware that we are losing the language, and now we want it to be restored in the places where it's not spoken anymore. We want it to be restored with children. We are creating a front of activism in favor of the language.
Beautiful. I'm going to just screen share here. This is the Usa tu voz account. And we're seeing more and more video just on the tweets.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and in fact, those ones there that you're passing that have the same format that are actually, let me screen share real quick.
Oh, please, you share.
Okay, well, what I pulled up, first of all, these are some of Moisés's posts.
Oh.
So here we see a post about ingredients for mole. We get so much information from these tweets. We get Zapotec language. We get a self-translation into English, which I think also shows another thing we explore is the multilingualism of Indigenous communities in Oaxaca. Here we have some information about mushrooms. And here, these one I wanted to show you, this is part of the growth. You were talking about the growth, Ron. Some students and faculty members, including Aaron Sonnenschein at Cal State LA, have grown this to include Mixtec languages and Chontal languages. And they have word of the day posts that they make using Usutuvos in Chontal and Mixtec. So there's at least 4 or 5 Oaxacan languages that are now using Usutuvos.
Fantastic. Oh, look at those hongos. Are
Yep.
those mushrooms?
Yep, those are red mushrooms, according to Moisés here on his tweet. I think we're seeing a map of Tlacochahuaya on the screen right now, right?
Yes, we are. Let's see if I have this.
Right.
So where are we? We're off of Highway 190 and the Dule tree. Is that coming across?
Yep, exactly. I see the map. So if you're looking at this map of Oaxaca, and you see that road that is leading from Oaxaca City out towards Mitla, the 190, that defines what we call the Tlacalula Valley. And if you can see, you get a little bit of information here in terms of geography. You can see that there's mountains on either side. So we're situated in a valley there. There's a lot of linguistic diversity even in this small valley. And so the Zapotec as it's spoken in Mitla certainly is what we would call a different language than the Zapotec that's spoken in Tlacochahuaya, even though they're very close to each other. And in fact, almost every community speaks a slightly different variety, which makes this context where languages are not being spoken as much anymore, even more dire in that if one community stops speaking, it's not that the community next door is speaking the same variety. It very well may be that you lose that variety entirely, and the way that Zapotec was spoken there isn't spoken the same anywhere else. And we have regional varieties of English, of course, but the dialect diversity in the Tlacalula Valley is more than the dialect diversity in American English.
By the way, can you believe we have street view from Oaxaca of just 5 years ago?
That's impressive.
My goodness. I want to just getting closer to the end, and then if you have any final comments, please let me know. But how did the students interact with locals? How was this 8-week experiment in documentary filmmaking, Oaxaca living?
Lucia, did you have some pictures that you can show while we talk about this?
Yeah, I can put my screen share on.
I'll start talking and you show things. And if you want to jump in, Lucia, just let me know, okay?
Okay. Screen share.
So from the very beginning, we envisioned this as partly an educational experience for the students. That's not the entire goal, but that is one of the goals. But before we even left for Oaxaca, they were taking some some Zapotec language lessons here at Haverford. And it was made clear from, okay, here we're seeing Lucia's pictures. Oh, nice. Okay, so there was discussion and structure from the beginning that the students were really collaborating with Moisés in helping achieve his goals in the creation of this. If we ended up creating something that was not useful for Moisés or for the town, then that would not have been a successful endeavor. And these 5 student fellows, I don't think, could have done a better job. They really brought all of their training and all of their knowledge and their creativity to this. There were 2 linguistics majors and 3 students that had extensive film training. And so people were bringing different types of skills to the table. Things you want to add, Lucia?
Well, I would say that, I don't know if I'm stop sharing now. Okay, here we go.
You're still, yeah,
perfect. Yeah, it was a really interesting process for me because I think together we're also recreating this mode of filmmaking that is, documentary filmmaking as a modality comes out of the anthropological tradition, of which linguistics comes out of as well. So there were many things, about just standard documentary practice that grew already from the same practices that Brook had been working with in many years. So it was interesting to sort of rebuild this new documentary pedagogy, like based upon really doing this collaborative work. There's a term of like community media where one is like making media with the community, and the community is making the media, and you're making the media as well. But that term doesn't quite apply here because the students were really the primary filmmakers in terms of they were operating the camera, they were operating the audio equipment. But in terms of the process of how the project came to be and how it was formed was truly a collaborative process. We use a technique called story mapping that involves lots of Post-it notes. As a producer, I just primarily rely on Post-it notes to plan anything, where everyone that's part of the project, so that includes all of the students, Brook, Moy, myself, Hilary, the production coordinator, just threw ideas out and put them up on the board, and we moved them around and sort of figured out, well, what could this be and where are we going? So I think that process of building creatively in a collaborative fashion translated in sort of like the ethical was sort of an extension more of the ethical and pedagogy that Brook and Moy have been working with in the activism for a long time. So that was really cool to do that and to sort of challenge the limits of the form of how you make a documentary. One last thing I would say is that, when the group went to Oaxaca, because Moy had some opportunities to come to Haverford, and there was some planning that the group did in advance, there was an understanding that it was going to be about language and identity in Tlacochahuaya. We didn't know exactly what that meant. When we got there, we thought that we were going to make a 15-minute short film that had sort of these 4 different components of agriculture, food, culture, education, art. And, after 6 weeks, we found that instead of a 15-minute short film, we had a 10-episode, 45-minute running time web series. And so I don't think that sort of process of discovery could have happened without a dedication to the collaborative process.
Beautiful. Moises, you're flashing in and out. Are we hearing you?
Yes.
Going back to that question, how did locals and visitors connect?
Well, very interesting experience because this also helped locals see the importance of language. It helped them to see how important language preservation is, because they saw a group of specialists. The local people saw the team as a group of specialists working on the language. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was really important because they saw the interest, they saw the energy, the effort that was put into this project. So that also pushes the community into action, into doing something. The interaction was excellent. They were really happy to see the team in the town. They were already used to see us around. So that was really, really great.
Beautiful. And of the group, how many were first-time Oaxaca visitors?
Oh, well, of the 5 fellows, 2 had been to Oaxaca before, so I think for 3 it was their first time. Hilary, who was our production assistant, it was also her first time. So 4.
I mean, I just find it interesting and just absolutely charming just to think about someone's first visit to Oaxaca, because it is a special place and there are some wonderful things happening, and I just can't imagine what that first impression is in 2018.
And in fact, we were really intentional about this, knowing whether it was their first time or whether it was a time they were returning. We spent the whole first week cameras down. We didn't film anything for the documentary, cameras down. I'm sorry, first week, because we wanted to have a week to see, to be there. I think day 1, we went to a dance and we're dancing, talking, listening without filming at first, because there's so much that's new. And if it's your first time to Mexico, of course, there's Mexico, but a Zapotec community is different than maybe a larger mestizo city. So there's many Mexicos, of course, right? And we were interacting with more than one culture and more than one language. We had this multilingual, multicultural setting. And so we gave that space for the first week. Of course, one could spend much longer, but we spent a week to kind of acclimate a bit before we started filming.
Mm-hmm. Moisés, anything to add?
Well, the only thing is to add is that this also shows how collaboration is possible. How when a team of students come to our towns and start a special project like this, collaboration is possible. And to me, that's what also matters, especially in this stage that we live in between our countries. This talks about the disposition, the willingness, the collaboration that can be achieved.
Beautiful. I want to toss it back to all of you folks. Do you have any final comments? Brooke?
I guess my final comments would be, I hope that you're curious now about this web series and that you join us and follow us some way. Our webpage is dizhsanabani.com. Maybe Lucia, can you pull something up that shows that?
Mm-hmm.
Dizhsanabani.com, and follow along and start watching the webisodes.
Beautiful.
I'm going to do a quick screen share here. So yeah, we're on all of your favorite channels. You can go to our website and it will have all of that's where you can't see it yet, but that's where the episodes will be released every week, as well as our YouTube, which if you subscribe to our YouTube page, then you can be sure to receive the new episode that we'll be releasing every week. And again, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all with that same Dizhsa Nabani tag. So that's all you need to know, and you'll find us.
Well thought out. Well done. Moisés?
Well, first, to thank Brooke, Lucia, the team for this great opportunity that they gave us to show the world what we are, what we do, what we eat here in Tlacochahuaya. But also this is sets a precedent for the entire Zapotec communities who want to do something similar or engage in this collaboration process. It is possible, and I am really thankful for it. Stay tuned for releases. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all, and thank you viewers. We'll be getting the on-demand views later on, but this has been an excellent conversation, and one that is part of a series of conversations here online as well as on the ground, wherever the ground might be. We'll do other chats, so I want to say thank you again, and please add positive comments or timestamps of the bits you'd like more information on. Cheers, everybody.